Hello and welcome to another 3-string cigar box guitar lesson. I'm Sean from Coda Guitar and we are continuing with our look at chords, 3-string chords. Absolute classic, this tune. It's pretty much instantly recognisable. I mean, even just playing like the simple version at the beginning, hopefully the sort of sound of the song was coming through. I've heard it in tons of different styles and it always sounds like the same song. It's always recognisable. So Hotel California, obviously by the Eagles. So just before we get into this, let's just tune up and see if we're ready to go. So it's low G, so this is all the same tuning here as normal, middle D and high G. So yeah, there's quite a lot of chords in this one, so I thought it might be quite good to go for a really sort of simple version for people who've not been playing for that long. I was literally just using bar chords all the way through, like the first cycle. So as long as you can bar, you've just got to move to different places on the fretboard. The second time round, just more of the sort of standard varied shape chords, some open chords, some bar chords. And then the last one, introducing a little bit of picking. So previous song, Time of Your Life, is quite a good one to have a look at if you don't feel quite so confident with or so familiar with picking, like playing different strings, with a few little extra like riffs here and there, or varied notes from the chord shapes, which is quite a relatively easy and quite an effective way to make something sound quite varied. So yeah, we'll get into this in a minute. I've put like a free song chart for this one. I mean, it's actually it's not an easy song to play, certainly not on 6-string like the original, but it's a relatively easy structure. It's just like two chord sequences for the verse and the chorus. So it'd still be useful to have that. So you can download that for free off the website codatuition.com. Put a link below, and also there's quite a useful pair of PDF sheets for like sort of basic beginner open chords, and also more advanced bar and movable chords, along with a fretboard note finder. So that type of thing is very useful for, say, if you're moving like bars around, just so you know exactly where you're going to. Yeah, very useful, and it'd be really appreciated if you consider downloading that. Support the channel. It's very reasonably priced, and it should see you through most of your cigar box playing experience, basically. So let's start with the easy version. Now, first of all, flat pick. So there's a very good, or a very sort of detailed lesson on sort of basic picking, Sunshine You Love, which I did a few weeks ago, so you can download that, but make sure you're holding the pick properly, and so it's coming out the side of your thumb. Don't grip it too tightly. You need to cover quite a bit of your thumb, like the entire width of your thumb really, with the pick. Just use your index finger on it. The more sort of secure you are with the pick, the less tightly you have to grip it, so you don't obviously drop it, but also it means that you're not too harsh when you're sort of like striking through the strings. You can allow like a little bit of give, a little bit of movement, because I was sort of playing in a fairly sort of chilled out way there, and a lot of that was having a relaxed grip. Okay, and also in the Sunshine You Love lesson, looking at barring, so that's pretty crucial for this first step. So you want to get your thumb halfway down the back of the neck, roll this first finger off a little bit, and you're effectively trying to create that sort of shape, that sort of hand position. So you're putting the pressure onto this middle portion, which keeps your finger straight. Okay, but check that lesson, goes into it in a bit more detail, and all we've got to do really, we're just dead simple. We're just going to find different frets for the different chords. So we've got fret 9 for the first one, which is E. I'll go around whether these are majors and minors in the sort of second cycle round. So that's an E5. If you just do that, that's a power chord basically, because that's a power chord, isn't it, when we just play the open strings. So E5, which is the name for a power chord. Fret 9 down to fret 4, which is B5, and then up to fret 7, which is D5, and then down to fret 2. which is A5. Fret 5 is C. And then I'm just going to use the open strings for the G. And then it's back to the A, A5, and then finish on fret 4 again for B. Okay. So, I mean, to be honest, it's going to be, sorry, I seem to have a butterfly in the studio here. So it's going to be definitely a lot easier, I think, to follow that sequence on paper, because there's quite a lot of chords, you know, so you might find that you're not necessarily memorising that shape all instantly. So if you're like reading off the chart, it might be quite helpful. But the pattern, the sort of basic strumming pattern that we can use here, and remember when you're strumming, get a nice sort of wrist rotation. And if you want a little bit more info on sort of basic strumming technique, there was another song accompanying The Sunshine of Your Love, which was T-Rex, 20th Century Boy. So that was looking more at strumming, and it's more of a sort of wrist rotation from your elbow. So you're sort of trying to control that quite relaxed movement. But what we're doing is we're going to be going down, down, up, down, up, down, and then just 4 downs at the end. Down, down, up, down, up, down. So say on the first chord it might sound a bit like this. Do that again. Now with that strumming pattern, you can actually vary things further, because you don't always have to strum all of the strings. You know, you can see here I'm sometimes picking out the bass there, just so in the last 4 downstrokes. So down, 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 down. You can do that if you want. It makes it sound a bit more interesting. You can also vary the volume at which you hit certain strums, but I mean, to start with, to be honest, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just get the basic rhythm, try and keep it consistent, and we'll pretty much play this for each chord. So I mean, you can almost have a slight sort of question and answer thing though. We can maybe do 1 strum fewer on every second chord. So 4 beats in a bar, as with pretty much everything we've done so far. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So I might just finish 1 strum early just on beat 4 there. And then D, same as the E, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and down to the A, same as the B, 3 and 4, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3 and 4, A again, and then finish on B. Now we can finish even early there if we want. In the intro, which is quite sparse, there is a little bit of space at the end of some of the the chord bars, so particularly that last one, so you can finish early there if you want. And then I'm just carrying on, do the chorus. So we've got C to G to B to E. C again, to G, and then to A, and then to B. So there aren't actually any new chords here, they're just literally put in a different order. So I'm just going to do that with the same strumming. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So C, 1, 2, 3, 4, G. Then B, and then E, so fret 9, back to C again, G, and then A, then B. Okay. Now, one thing to think about. So I've just been playing a bunch of bar chords there, and this is kind of set up for slide, to be honest. So it's like relatively high action. So I can sort of feel that. It's quite tough, particularly fretting that A on fret 2. So you want to have a look at what the height is off your frets, and you know, sometimes if you've got like a machine screw as a nut, you can sometimes think about swapping it out as a for a smaller one, a thinner one. You know, that might help if you're going to be playing non-slide songs. But yes, see if you can sort that out if you need to. But that's the easy version. And we can basically keep that strumming pattern, and we can just add in some more of the sort of standard varied chord shapes. So let's use this E minor, so fret 2, fret 4, and then we can use, I mean, there's a whole bunch of possibilities that you can do. I mean, that is a bit of a stretch. I'm probably not going to use that one. That's the B major, but I can use the power chords. I could go to a B7. That actually works pretty well. It's not that difficult to play. So the B's fret 4, as we know, the B7's fret 2, and then fret 4, and I'm using my first 3 fingers for that. Or if we wanted to play a slightly less punishing B major, we can go up here instead. So it's not a bar, it's 3 separate fretted notes. So that's, sometimes you see what I'm doing there, you can sort of cradle the neck a bit more so your fingers are more sort of diagonally across for these types of shapes. Whenever your first finger's lower down, you don't always need to sort of do this with your wrist so much. So that's fret 8, fret 9, fret 11, 8, 9, 11, so that's fingers 1, 2, 4. Alright, so that's a nice E minor, that works pretty well. I might just do a B bar, and I might even jump up here for a bit of variation, if you can get that change. If you look at what my thumb's doing as well, you see it's moving around different hand position. D. Let's go for this open D5. It's a nice, relatively easy one, and it sounds pretty good as well for this particular song. But I might jump up to the fret 7 power chord for a bit of variation. I might even drop onto this high, still full 3-string bar, little finger, fret 11. So that's a high D major. And then we're going to A. So if that's B that we just played, frets 8, 9, 11, fret 6, 7, 9, that's an A, because A and B are 2 frets apart. Again, you can check the fretboard chart, and also on those chords, the chord chart, all of the they're all dots, aren't they, on the diagrams, and any of them which have an R in them, that refers to the root note. So for this particular shape, the root note is on the middle string. So the A is on fret 7, and the B is on fret 9, and even this one, the root note's also on the middle string. It's actually the open D. Okay, so that can be quite useful for kind of working your way around if you wanted to vary this and play your own versions. So we are going for E minor, I'll do that again, and then B, and then maybe up here for this B, this open D5. I'll just play a power chord, that works alright, to be honest. And then I'll play this A up here, but I might even vary this by going for a power chord. Again, you can check that chord diagram sheet. So that is fret 7, fret 9, fret 9. So that is a power chord. It doesn't have the note that makes the chord major. Okay. And then we can go to C. So this is like the E minor, so frets 2 and 5. And then I'll go to G. I'll just do a nice easy one from that beginner sheet. So just fret 4 on the high G. When I go to A minor, I'm going to try and do a bar here. So the bar's on fret 2, sorry, as before, but I'm going to be little finger on fret 5. So a bit of a stretch, but if you can get that, it sounds quite nice. I'm going to go for B power chord and finish back up here on that B major chord. The reason why it can be quite good to try and get the A minor in is because the first time you hit A, it was actually major. You know, this partly what makes it such a distinctive chord progression. It's quite clever the way it sort of mixes the chords up. So it goes to A minor to B. It's got a very sort of Spanish stroke sort of classical ending. So that verse is E minor, then B, D, then A, C, G, A minor, B. I'll do that a little bit slower. 3, 4. Then B. Then D. Then A. Change to the power chord. Then C. Little variation, I'll do that in a minute. G, little variation, then A minor this time, and then go up to the B first, and finish on so the B power chord, and then finish on the B. Yeah, so those little variations, that works quite nicely. That's the C sus2. And then the G, if I go down to fret 2, that's also a sus2. Okay, so that part. I mean, you can change the rhythmical placement of that variation. That was a bit more offbeat, that one. The trick is, it's a bit funny coordination wise. You really want to try and keep your rhythm as constant as possible, and don't let any slightly offbeat variations kind of put you off, trip you up here, as it were. Like that, yeah. And then, yeah, for the chorus, C, G, B. Again, we can be sort of playing variations. I might even vary it and put that 7th in for the chorus. So G, so B7. And then E minor, C, G. Let's try and go for the A minor bar again, and then B, and go for the high one. So again, we're hitting the B twice. Maybe I'm going for that low B7 the first time and that bar, and then the second time on the B I'll go for that bar and then actually finish up here, just because it's a bit brighter, so it works nicely as a way to sort of conclude the chorus. All right. So slightly more sort of complexity. Again, we could potentially pick. We could potentially even put some little extra sort of variations, like hammer-ons and things. But what I'll do is I'll just go around the picking first. So. I want to probably start on the string where the bass note is. So, you know, we were talking about the fact that the bass note for this B and A is on, the root note rather, is on the middle string. It's the same for this E minor. The root note is on the middle string. But when I go to the B, it's here, it's on the low G, or it's back on the middle string. When I go to the D, the root note's here on the middle string, but it's back on the low G when I'm up on this bar here. Okay, so now we're having to like adapt this because obviously it's originally done on a. It's actually done on a 12-string, this intro, which is like 6 strings doubled up. So here, I'm going to start picking between the lower strings, and then I'll move to the higher ones. So that's 1, 2, 3. So it's 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. Same. Simple, and then so yeah, I'd probably definitely recommend just keeping that picking pattern exactly the same all the way through. Maybe not even worrying about switching between chords, because as soon as you do something more complex down here, it's going to throw you off. You know, so if you try to change, if you try to do too much with both hands, it all kind of like falls apart. So maybe just go around that verse sequence, pick some relatively simple chords, try and get that picking pattern completely consistent all the way through. But when you've got that. You can put the odd little extra bit in, so it's just a question of looking at which notes work, which notes you can vary from which chord. So I can use my open D and hammer back onto this E note, this fret 2. I might try and put a little bit of variation shape-wise in. Because not all of the chords need little kind of embellishments. Sometimes just changing shapes works well. C. Now that's quite a nice little lick to play off the C. So we can vary that note like I did on the E minor, off the E minor, but I can also jump up to fret 7. This is for the C chord, and I can bar the top 2 strings and do a little hammer on onto fret 9 on the middle string. So that's like a down, up with my picking. Yeah, another thing with the picking, as I was mentioning in the Green Day song, like directional picking the direction of each new string. So you're constantly sending yourself on the way to find the next string. It'll be much sort of smoother. So say for the C chord, I could, maybe we don't even need this here. You know, you can put it in, but if it's a bit too much, you can. I can sort of do that, and then off the G, you know, I can do a little hammer on off that G sus2. So say off that A minor, if I wanted to put a bit of variation in, I've got an A minor down to a bar, and that's an A7. Again, that's on the beginner chord sheet. So instead of the bar, you've just got an open G down here. And if we were going to go A to A power chord, there's no reason why you can't do the same thing for the B. So there's that B shape. I can drop onto 9, 11, 11. That works quite well. Okay. Then B. In the chorus, same on the G. So maybe a little bit more strumming here because it's the chorus. It maybe wants to build up a bit, you know, in volume. Something like that is almost like bringing out the vocal rhythm as well. You can just on the first C, the first line of each, the first chord of each line of the chorus. You could go something like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and that sort of echoes the vocal rhythm a little bit. I'll do that again. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then the same sort of little trick with the G sus2. Then B. Now on the E minor, which is the 4th chord, last of the first line of the chorus, on a 6th string, that would actually be the lowest string, so it sounds better, but this still works all right. So we've got a little ascending kind of bass line. So this is the E, so it's going up. It's kind of going up the scale from E minor. So we can use different fingers to try and fit that in, fit that run up. So I'm going to use my little finger after there up on fret 4, and then fret 5, and then fret 7. So it's normally minor, little finger, fret 5 with my mid-second finger, fret 7 with my little finger. And on that bit, you probably want to be going down, down, up, down, down, up. Completely sort of consistent strumming all the way through. So it's like down, down, up, down, down, So from the beginning of the chorus, G, then B, go high. Here's the ascending bass. Back to C, then G, then A minor, and then B. I mean, that was pretty similar what I did there to the end of the verse, basically. So yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot in that. But really, it's just looking at how you can adapt great chord sequences and play them. If you've actually not been playing for that long, you can still get. But if it's a good song, if it's a strong enough sounding song, you can actually still get something pretty musical out of it. But then you can take it as far as you want. You can just go for the simple shapes, just so that it sounds a bit more varied than just barring all the way through, and then start mixing it up a little bit with your picking, like arpeggiating, like picking notes from chords is dead effective. It sounds really nice, however many strings you're playing on, and then finally looking at some either varied shapes for the same chord, or just like different little sort of like licks and sort of chord tone variations that you can put in for different shapes, and you end up with fairly sort of varied sound. It's quite effective. You just got to try and sing over the top, which again is probably for another day. But yeah, so that's it really. Hope that's useful. Hope you have fun playing that one. Great song, classic song. Yeah, so get the free chord chart. That'd be quite helpful, and please consider downloading the chord boxes, the chord sheets as well, reference sheets. That would be much appreciated. Help support the channel, and I'm sure you'll find them really useful at the same time. So look forward to seeing you here again very soon on Coded Guitar.